Ancient Alexandria, 48 BCE. The fate of empires hung precariously, balanced on the edge of a blade, threatening to shatter the world order. Within its magnificent marble walls, a young queen, stripped of her throne, harbored an audacious ambition that defied conventional wisdom and Roman might. Cleopatra VII, exiled and politically isolated, faced a seemingly insurmountable challenge, reclaiming her birthright against powerful Roman-backed forces. Into this volatile crucible sailed Julius Caesar, Rome's undisputed conqueror, a general whose legions had redrawn the very maps of the known world. His arrival in Egypt was no mere diplomatic visit. It was an ominous declaration, threatening to subsume the ancient kingdom into Rome's ever-expanding empire. Yet, amidst despair, Cleopatra envisioned a desperate gamble, not to fight Rome directly, but to conquer its mightiest general from within. How could a queen, seemingly powerless and in exile, strategically influence the world's most formidable man, shaping the destiny of two empires? This was a masterclass in psychological warfare, a power play for not just a throne, but for the heart and mind of Rome itself, as historical records attest. What unfolded was one of history's most legendary love affairs, born of desperation and brilliant strategic calculation, reshaping Roman politics forever. Her bold defiance and profound influence would ignite a fire that irrevocably altered Egypt's future, a testament to her unparalleled resilience. Join us as we uncover the epic saga of Cleopatra's audacious quest to conquer Caesar's heart, and with it, the very foundations of the Roman Republic. The late Roman Republic was a cauldron of ambition, a vast empire groaning under the weight of its own success and the relentless machinations of its most powerful citizens. Decades of internal strife had eroded the very foundations of the state, turning the venerated Senate into a battleground for personal supremacy. The Gracchi brothers, Marius, Sulla, a brutal cycle of civil wars had torn at Rome's fabric, showcasing the fragility of its republican ideals. Every generation saw new demagogues and generals rising, ready to challenge the status quo with legions loyal only to them. Out of this tumultuous era emerged Gaius Julius Caesar, a name that would forever be etched into the annals of power. He was not merely a politician. He was a strategic genius, a charismatic orator, and a man whose ambition knew no bounds. Caesar's unparalleled military campaigns in Gaul had not only expanded Rome's borders, but also forged an unshakable bond with his veteran legions. They were his instruments, ready to carve out a new destiny for Rome and for their beloved general. Yet, this ascension brought him into direct conflict with the established order and, crucially, with his former ally and son-in-law, Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, Pompey the Great. The Republic, it seemed, was not large enough for two such colossal figures. The fateful crossing of the Rubicon in 49 BCE was more than a geographical boundary. It was a declaration of war, an irreversible step that plunged Rome into its deadliest civil conflict. Alea iacta est, Caesar reportedly declared. The die is cast. Pompey, once the darling of Rome, a hero whose campaigns had secured the East, now stood as the Senate's champion, desperately clinging to the traditions and institutions Caesar threatened to dismantle. The world held its breath as these two titans prepared for a final, decisive confrontation. As Rome bled, another ancient power, the kingdom of Ptolemaic Egypt, watched with bated breath. Rich beyond measure, its fertile Nile delta was the breadbasket of the Mediterranean, its granaries feeding millions across the Roman world. The Ptolemaic dynasty, established by one of Alexander the Great's generals, had ruled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries. Yet, by the mid-1st century BCE, it was a shadow of its former glory, riddled with internal feuds and increasingly reliant on Roman patronage. Egypt's immense wealth and strategic location made it an irresistible prize, a glittering jewel coveted by every Roman faction. Its precarious position meant any Roman victory or defeat could spell the end of its already fragile independence. This was the world into which Cleopatra VII, Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom, was born. She was a woman of extraordinary intellect, ambition, and an iron will, a true descendant of pharaohs. Cleopatra's background was steeped in the Hellenistic culture of Alexandria, a vibrant nexus of learning and power. Fluent in multiple languages, including Egyptian, she was schooled in rhetoric, philosophy, and statecraft, preparing her for the throne. She ascended to power in 51 BCE, co-ruling with her younger brother, Ptolemy III, a common, often volatile tradition within the Ptolemaic house. Sibling rivalry was an intrinsic part of their dynastic rule, a struggle for singular control. However, the machinations of the royal court and her brother's regents soon led to her overthrow. Cleopatra, a queen without a kingdom, was forced to flee Alexandria, exiled to Syria by her rivals. Stripped of her birthright, her situation seemed desperate. Her reign abruptly ended. Yet, Cleopatra was not one to accept defeat. Her resolve hardened, fueled by an unwavering belief in her rightful claim to Egypt. She understood that merely regaining her throne was not enough. To secure her rule against future threats, she needed a formidable ally, a protector whose power could silence her internal enemies and deter Roman interference. As fate would have it, the Roman civil war was about to draw its final bloody chapter to the shores of Egypt. Pompey, utterly defeated by Caesar at the Battle of Pharsalus, fled eastward, seeking refuge and potential allies. His desperate flight led him directly to Egypt, to the court of Ptolemy V. Caesar, in relentless pursuit of his rival, followed closely behind, setting the stage for an encounter that would change the course of history. This convergence of Roman civil strife and Egyptian dynastic intrigue created a powder keg. Cleopatra, observing from exile, knew this was her chance, a desperate gamble for survival and restoration. Her future, and the future of Egypt, would hinge on a single, audacious move, a direct appeal to the most powerful man in the Roman world. The stakes could not have been higher. The world was on the brink of an unprecedented transformation. The serpent and the lion, each driven by destiny and desperation, were about to meet. Their personal ambitions, intertwined with the fate of empires, would unleash a saga of love, power, and betrayal that resonates even today. Caesar found himself in a precarious position within Alexandria, a city simmering with discontent and political intrigue. His intervention, initially aimed at resolving dynastic squabbles, had entangled him deeply in Egyptian power struggles. The city was a tinderbox, its streets patrolled by rival factions, and Caesar's forces were significantly outnumbered, isolated within Ptolemy V's palace complex. He needed a clear path forward, a decisive move to stabilize the region. Meanwhile, Cleopatra, exiled and desperate, understood the immense stakes. Her younger brother Ptolemy, backed by ambitious regents, held the throne and controlled the capital. Her only chance lay in direct appeal, but entering Caesar's heavily guarded quarters was an impossibility for a known fugitive. The conventional routes were all barricaded, her life a constant target. This was not merely a struggle for the Egyptian throne, it was a high-stakes gamble for regional dominance, with Rome's vast grain supply and Eastern influence hanging in the balance. From her clandestine position, Cleopatra conceived a plan as audacious as it was brilliant, a move that defied all military and political convention. She understood Caesar's character, a man who admired boldness, innovation, and a challenge to the status quo. Her entrance had to be unforgettable, a statement of unyielding will. Historical accounts, corroborated by expert analysis of the era's logistics, paint a vivid picture of her preparations. It was a perilous journey, crossing enemy lines. Accompanied only by a loyal retainer, Apollodorus, the Sicilian, she sailed secretly from the Delta, navigating through the very heart of enemy-held territory. Her objective was clear: circumvent the blockades, bypass Ptolemy's vigilant guards, and appear before Caesar as an undeniable, potent force. The legendary moment arrived. Cleopatra, coiled within a large carpet or sack, was carried by Apollodorus directly into the Roman general's quarters. This audacious act was not just a dramatic flourish. It was a masterful stroke of psychological warfare, designed to disarm and impress before a single word was spoken. Imagine the scene. Roman guards, accustomed to the stern decorum of military life, observing a seemingly innocuous delivery, completely unaware of the human cargo within. With bated breath, Apollodorus presented his unusual package to Caesar's attendants, requesting an audience for an urgent matter. The tension in the antechamber must have been palpable. Then, the unrolling. Not of a simple rug, but of a queen, emerging with grace and an almost ethereal presence from what appeared to be common baggage. A moment forever etched in history. The immediate impact on Caesar was profound. He was a man of logic and strategy, yet even he could not have anticipated such a brazen, theatrical display. Cleopatra did not arrive through the typical channels of supplication. She materialized, an apparition of defiance and royal prerogative, instantly seizing control of the narrative. Her youth, her beauty, and above all, her sheer audacity, captivated the seasoned general, challenging his expectations of a desperate monarch. This was no meek petitioner. This was a queen willing to risk everything, demonstrating a courage and strategic cunning that mirrored his own. The encounter shattered all preconceived notions, establishing a foundation of mutual intrigue and respect, far beyond mere political expediency. Their initial interactions transcended diplomatic pleasantries. What unfolded was a clash of intellects, a rapid exchange of political insight and ambition. Cleopatra, renowned for her linguistic prowess and sharp mind, spoke directly, passionately, articulating her claims to the throne and the injustices she faced. Caesar, a master orator and strategist, listened intently, undoubtedly weighing her arguments against his own comprehensive understanding of Egyptian and Roman interests. Their chemistry was immediate and undeniable, rooted in a shared ambition and an almost equal measure of intellectual prowess. This was a partnership of formidable minds. It wasn't just physical attraction. It was the magnetic pull between two individuals who recognized in each other an unparalleled capacity for power and strategic thought. Caesar's motivations for intervening in Egyptian affairs were multifaceted, extending far beyond the personal allure of Cleopatra or even immediate riches. Rome critically depended on Egypt's bountiful grain harvests, which fed its vast populace and legionaries. Instability here posed a direct threat to Roman security. Furthermore, Egypt represented a vital strategic foothold in the eastern Mediterranean, a region rife with rival powers and potential threats to Roman supremacy. By supporting Cleopatra, Caesar sought to install a reliable, friendly monarch who would ensure stable grain supplies and align Egypt firmly within Rome's sphere of influence. His intervention was a calculated move, an extension of Roman foreign policy, masquerading cleverly as a resolution to a family squabble. Thus, their alliance was forged, not merely from a romantic spark, but from a potent blend of personal charisma and undeniable geopolitical necessity. Cleopatra offered legitimacy and local knowledge. Caesar provided unparalleled military might and Roman authority. They were two halves of an irresistible force. Their partnership marked a pivotal moment, shaping not only the destiny of Egypt, but profoundly altering the trajectory of Rome's imperial ambitions in the ancient world. Caesar's audacious decision to intervene directly in Egypt's dynastic struggle ignited the powder keg of an urban conflict. Ptolemy the Thane, stripped of his perceived authority and fueled by advisors, saw war as his only recourse against Roman imposition. The magnificent streets of Alexandria, once symbols of learning and grandeur, rapidly transformed into a brutal, unforgiving urban battleground. Caesar found himself trapped, outnumbered by a populace incensed by foreign occupation and the young pharaoh's desperate rallying cry. This was not the open-field cavalry charge or disciplined legionary phalanx Rome was accustomed to. This was claustrophobic, house-to-house combat. Every alleyway became an ambush point, every rooftop a sniper's nest, every building a fortress to be taken at immense cost. Ptolemy's forces, swelled by local militias and a segment of the royal army, laid siege to Caesar's small Roman contingent within the palace. The royal quarter became a desperate Roman strongpoint, its perimeter contested daily in bloody skirmishes and daring raids for control. Yet, through the chaos, by Caesar's side, stood Cleopatra, not a mere captive, but a sovereign partner in this unfolding drama. Her counsel proved invaluable, her intimate understanding of Egyptian politics and Alexandria's labyrinthine layout a strategic goldmine. She expertly navigated the treacherous currents of local loyalties, identifying pockets of resistance and crucial potential allies for Rome. Cleopatra's intelligence network, meticulously forged over years, provided Caesar with crucial insights into enemy movements and supply lines. She worked relentlessly, rallying support among loyalists, providing vital provisions and actionable information to the beleaguered Roman forces. The protracted struggle for the Nile's greatest city became a grueling test of Roman resolve against a passionate, localized insurgency. Expert analysis reveals Caesar's primary challenge was less about military might and more about adapting to an unconventional urban battlefield. His tactical brilliance shone through in developing intricate defensive fortifications and strategic control of key waterfront facilities. Maintaining legionary morale, even for a leader like Caesar, proved immensely difficult amidst the constant threat and urban chaos. A critical moment saw the Egyptians gain control of the harbour, threatening to cut off Roman sea access and any hope of reinforcement. The struggle for the iconic Pharos lighthouse, Alexandria's towering beacon, became a focal point of the bloody, desperate conflict. Roman forces launched daring assaults to seize and hold this strategic edifice, recognizing its paramount importance for maritime control. Control of the Pharos meant dominance over the crucial harbour entrance, vital for securing sea lanes and future Roman relief efforts. Through it all, Cleopatra's unwavering spirit and shrewd political acumen fortified Caesar's determination, a queen battling fiercely for her throne. Just as the situation seemed most dire, the tide dramatically began to turn with the anticipated arrival of Roman reinforcements. Mithridates of Pergamon, Caesar's trusted ally, led a formidable army, marching heroically through the Sinai to relieve the beleaguered Romans. His timely intervention broke the Egyptian lines, forcing Ptolemy's army into a decisive confrontation outside the city walls. The Battle of the Nile, fought along the river's eastern banks, became the climactic, brutal engagement of the Alexandrian War. In a desperate attempt to escape across the Nile, Ptolemy the Thane tragically perished, drowning in the very river he sought to defend. With Ptolemy's death, organized Egyptian resistance crumbled, securing Caesar's decisive victory and Cleopatra's undisputed reign. She was formally established on the throne, a powerful queen ruling Egypt under the protective yet influential shadow of Rome. The shared crucible of war had forged an unbreakable personal and profound political bond between the Roman general and the Egyptian queen. Their alliance was more than strategically convenient. It was a profound merging of ambitions, a vision for a future intertwined. From this extraordinary union, a son was born. Caesarion, a living symbol, linking Roman power to the ancient legacy of Egyptian royalty. He represented not just an heir, but a potential future where the might of Rome and the mystique of Egypt could converge, a true testament to their epic connection. The tempestuous passion between Caesar and Cleopatra, born amidst war and forged in shared ambition, carried immense, unforeseen consequences for both their ancient empires. Caesar's controversial decision to bring Cleopatra and their son, Caesarion, to Rome in 46 BC shocked the conservative heart of the Republic. She arrived not as a captive queen, but as a sovereign ruler, residing in Caesar's private villa, overlooking the city's ancient forums. This blatant disregard for Roman tradition, flaunting a foreign queen and a potential rival heir, sparked immediate and widespread scandal among the populace. Her opulent Egyptian entourage and exotic customs were perceived by many Romans as an affront to their austere values and republican ideals. The presence of a powerful foreign queen, openly associated with the Republic's greatest general, became a visible symbol of Caesar's burgeoning monarchical tendencies. Public opinion, initially curious, quickly soured into resentment and outrage, fueled by senators and traditionalists who feared for the Republic's very soul. Cleopatra symbolized an insidious Oriental despotism encroaching upon Rome's foundational virtues, threatening its established moral and political order. This audacious challenge to deep-seated Roman traditions significantly inflamed the political factions already distrustful of Caesar's accumulating power and authority. The sheer audacity of Caesar's private life, intertwining so conspicuously with public policy, was an unprecedented and unforgivable transgression in Roman eyes. Crucially, their intimate alliance fundamentally altered the delicate and unwritten rules governing Roman succession, injecting perilous instability into the Republic. The very existence of Caesarion, a biological son, created an immediate and profound threat to the existing structure of dynastic transfer, historically reliant on adoption. This challenged the long-established Roman practice of adopted heirs, suddenly pitting bloodline against political legacy in a way the Republic was ill-equipped to handle. Octavian, Caesar's formerly adopted heir, suddenly faced a potent rival for future power, a direct blood claimant who could overshadow his own legitimate claim. The implications of Caesarion's potential future role were staggering, threatening to dismantle generations of Roman political stability and ignite civil strife. Cleopatra, ever the shrewd strategist and ambitious mother, undeniably championed her son's legitimacy, envisioning his destiny intertwined with Rome's future, a truly imperial vision. Under Cleopatra's astute leadership, Egypt certainly reaped substantial benefits, gaining temporary security, renewed prestige, and protection from potential Roman annexation. The pharaoh's direct personal influence with Rome's most powerful man was an unprecedented diplomatic asset, safeguarding Egypt's sovereignty and interests. Economic benefits flowed back to Alexandria, bolstering its treasury and strategic position as a vital grain supplier, further integrating it into Roman policy. However, this spectacular resurgence of Egyptian power and influence was dangerously predicated entirely on Julius Caesar's continued political survival and supremacy. The burgeoning scandal surrounding Cleopatra's scandalous presence in Rome intensified the deep-seated fears and conspiracies already festering against Caesar. Her very existence and their son exacerbated the anxieties of a monarchical takeover, providing potent ammunition for those plotting the dictator's demise. Thus, the luxurious Egyptian queen in Rome became a vivid, potent symbol, inextricably linked to the Republic's unraveling and the tragic fate of its greatest general. Cleopatra, with her unparalleled strategic wit, orchestrated a power play against Julius Caesar, challenging the very core of Roman dominance and its unwavering might. Her indomitable spirit and shrewd political acumen profoundly influenced history's most powerful man, forever altering his ambitions and Rome's inevitable trajectory. This extraordinary relationship carved an indelible mark on Roman history, directly contributing to the tumultuous fall of the Republic and its old established order. It dramatically foreshadowed the subsequent rise of the empire, fundamentally reshaping the geopolitical landscape of the ancient Mediterranean world and Egypt's place within it. Cleopatra's story masterfully exemplifies asymmetrical power dynamics. Her brilliant personal strategy arrayed against Rome's overwhelming military and political might. Her profound influence reveals how one individual's resolve and intellect can undeniably redirect the grandest currents of empires, leaving an unfading legacy. Join us for more epic sagas that reveal forgotten truths. If you were captivated by this historical journey, please like, subscribe, and share to support our channel.